Hi everyone. So some of you may have noticed that there was no episode last week, and that was just for personal reasons. I really needed a break basically. These episodes take an insane amount of work, and on top of my other businesses, I've just been absolutely flat out for weeks. So I needed to just have a little breather. But we are back this week with another episode. We are joined by the brilliant Amelia Coburn, a Teesside singer and songwriter whose music has this really interesting blend of folk, darker storytelling, and of course that unmistakable northern charm that we all have. We talk about how she first got started, how she taught herself the ukulele when she was little, and her time living in Paris, Mexico, and Russia, of all places. We also get into her songwriting process, why she still gets nervous before gigs even after 10 years of performing, and what it was like when Paul Weller messaged her to collaborate. I mean, can you imagine that? And we talk about the behind the scenes story of the Something Wild music video, which she just released a couple of months ago, so make sure you check that out. I've got the link in the show notes. And it involved a giant cake and just running around the woods with people dressed as wolves, as you do. Amelia's got such a lovely way of talking about music and creativity, and I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. So, as usual, grab yourself a cuppa, settle in, and enjoy this week's episode with Amelia Coburn. You're listening to Geordie Pride, Voices from the Northeast. I'm Hayley, and alongside my cousin Angela, we're thrilled to bring you the stories that share the heart and soul of the northeast of England. Each episode, we'll dive into the lives of extraordinary Geordies and those who call the northeast home, exploring their journeys and celebrating their achievements. From the time to the teas, from the arts to the sports fields, we're here to share the tales of passion, resilience, and of course, Geordie pride. So whether you're from Whitley Bay or Washington, Gateshead or Gisborough, or you're just fascinated by the spirit of the Northeast, join us as we natter with the best the Northeast has to offer. Hi Amelia, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem. So let's just dive straight in. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background in the Northeast and where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from Middlesbrough. I live in Eaglescliffe now, and I'm a singer-songwriter and performer, I suppose. And I've always loved performing. Growing up, I did a lot of musical theatre at the Middlesbrough Theatre and like various little am-jam stuff as a kid and a teenager. But I didn't start writing music until I was about 18. I had a ukulele when I was 15, and I made a sort of name for myself around the local Teesside area playing covers that I'd learned from my dad's record collection, and that went down quite well. So I was sort of doing it as a part-time job, and then when I went to uni, I started writing, and it just went from there. I never really knew or thought that it could be anything more than a hobby or a part-time job. But yeah, it's since then it's been going and going.
What sort of genre is it, Amelia?
It's funny because it's really hard to pin it to one specific genre. I think the best catch-all definition would be folk music because there's a lot of storytelling. It's an acoustic instrument, and my voice is quite Celtic. Like I often get people saying, "Oh, you're Irish. You got Irish roots," and it's like not at all. Not that I know of. I'm very much like we once did one of those ancestry things, and I was like, "Oh, am I going to be somewhere exotic?" And it was just like pure Middlesbrough, like for the last 100 years. So yeah, I think folk would be the genre. But then within that, like the music I listen to, I like a lot of kind of alternative or indie. I grew up listening to musical theatre and classical and jazz. So I think there's a lot of influences in there, but I suppose it'd be like a folk noir or neo folk. So there's a bit of a darker undercurrent to my music. It's not like traditional in any sense, but yeah, I'd say folk music.
Yeah. Wow. It's obviously something that you're very passionate about.
Yeah, it is. I've always just like I'm a music lover generally, so I think if I wasn't working as a singer or songwriter or musician, I'd probably be doing something creative or in like the music or I guess just general cultural sector. Like I studied languages at uni. I didn't study music because I don't actually read music, and my school like basically said I couldn't do music A level if I didn't read music. So I never, again, didn't think I could do it properly. But I did languages because I love words and I like people and I like traveling. So it felt like the right thing to do. And I can't remember where I was going with that. But oh yeah, I had an internship when I lived in Paris and that was working in like film. So I think, yeah, if it wasn't music, it would definitely be something creative because I don't think I could do something that's not creative.
Yeah. Oh, so you lived in Paris for a little while?
I did. I lived in Paris for 6 months, Mexico for another 6 months, and then Russia, of all places, for the
Wow.
summer. I had a
Wow.
whole year. It was part of the degree, so it was the best time of my life because it was when we were in the EU, so we had like all the funding that came with that from Erasmus. I had a job that paid me quite well, so I was probably the richest I've ever been, age 21. Like I'll never be that rich again because just the council and the government would just give me money to do my degree, and I loved it. I had such a great time, and I could, because of that opportunity with the funding and the uni, I got to really immerse myself and not have to worry too much, and I loved it. Yeah, I loved Paris. I loved all the places, but Paris I felt most for me.
Yeah. Did you do like your music and stuff over there as well when you were there, or?
I did a little bit in Paris. I got a few gigs from bands who I met in England who were like gigging in France, so I like, asked to support them. I didn't do much in Mexico. I wrote a lot. I found I wrote loads probably because I had no responsibility really, especially when I was at university in Mexico. Like I had 2 days a week of lessons, and they really don't care over there. It's the most laid back place ever. So a lot of the time I just spent at home writing without any pressure. I didn't do any music in Russia because they were very strict, and I think I had to have like a whole visa for the instrument, as you can imagine. So I didn't do anything there. But yeah, I wrote a lot. I felt very inspired, and it's one of those things that one of my songs, Sleepy Town, was written during that time about it. I wrote it when I came back from that year and I was stuck in Middlesbrough, and I wanted to get out of Middlesbrough, and I introduced it to the audience like it's funny because I love being in Middlesbrough now. It's that love-hate relationship you have with the place you're from. When you're there, you're sick of it, and then as soon as you go somewhere else, you're like, oh, I want to come back. It's always the way. I really missed home when I was away, and then as soon as I got home, I was like, right, let's go again. Let's move abroad. So I still have that kind of itchy feet wanting to travel, but I think, yeah, it'd be more traveling for a few months rather than moving away because it's a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've always wanted to, like, I love traveling and I've always wanted to like live abroad, but I'm always that person when I go on holiday for a couple of weeks and I really just want to get home again. So I'm like, maybe
Yeah.
living abroad isn't the best option.
Especially, I think, like, if you go to Paris and stuff, I felt like kind of living at home really, and I was quite good at French, but then Mexico was so different. And even just like trying to find something in the shop, like they don't have baked beans and like home comforts that you forget about, and you just like I loved it. But I think, and again, living there, people were so relaxed. And I'm quite like, neurotic. So I like being somewhere on time. I am like really not relaxed. So getting to my first lecture at 9 o'clock when it was meant to start and having the teacher turn up at 25 past 9, they were like, why are you here so early? It's like, it's meant to start at 9. Like I couldn't get my head around that. And I did get used to it eventually, but I really miss like British kind of politeness and being there really early, that sort of thing.
Yeah. God, yeah, it sounds like my worst nightmare. I'd be lost.
Yeah, honestly, it was annoying, although it was great when you were running late because you never had to like. I feel you never had to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," because they're like, "It's all right." Like that was nice, but except when you wanted to be somewhere and that person kept you waiting 45 minutes, yeah, I think we're just not used to it, are we? I felt it was really rude, but it's not for them. It's like rude to get there early.
So with your music, Amelia, I've listened to your music and it's lovely. It's got such a lovely, there's a lot of storytelling to it. And like you say, it's a very unique style. Is there anyone when you were growing up that you kind of inspire yourself off? Because it is so unique, but is there anyone in the kind of the industry now that you would think you sound similar to or that you take inspiration from at all?
I think I just take tiny little bits from all the artists I really like, which is probably why I'd like to say it sounds quite unique. I grew up, again, it's funny because the music I grew up listening to doesn't really reflect the sound that I produce. And I suppose that's because I play the ukulele and I'm not in a rock band. So I listen to like a lot of new wave, kind of like late 70s, early 80s stuff like Blondie, the Specials, the Jam. And again, my music doesn't sound like that, except maybe some of the lyrics are quite storytelling in that era of music. So maybe that. And then my dad like loved Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash, and I suppose there's that element of storytelling. And then now I think I really like there was a 90s band, The Sundays. I get my voice compared to her a lot, and I loved them growing up. A band called Broadcast, again, the lead singer, my voice similar to that. So I think there's a lot of kind of either vocally or the way I write or the sounds that I produce. It's like little bits from everywhere because my debut album was very eclectic and it was really hard again to market it because I didn't have a specific sound. And some of the songs were very like musical theatre jazz because that came from the musicals that I was growing up and I was in growing up and listened to, and a bit jazzy and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think there's not one specific person that was like that was my inspiration. It was just a little bit of everything. And my dad, his record collection, his music taste was so varied. Like I say, it was like classic FM, and then next minute it was the Sex Pistols, and it was literally like those two things in the same morning. So I think that really helped me realize that you can, music is so like every single artist can inspire you in different ways.
Definitely. So I'm guessing that your dad is very musical as well. Does he play a lot of instruments and stuff or not?
I'm the
No.
only person in my kind of family that I know of that can play an instrument, at least to like a semi-professional level. My parents aren't musical at all, which was quite difficult, I think, when I wanted to get into the industry because, they're so supportive and they help me where they can. But there was a lot of times where like I'd get offered a gig and we didn't know how much to charge. We didn't know what equipment I'd need because I'm the first like musician in my family. So, and my mum, she's retired now, but she worked at M&S. She was a shop assistant, and then my dad's like a primary school teaching assistant and supply teacher. So yeah, not exactly in the musical world at all. But my dad, yeah, he loves music and he always played it. And I think his mum and dad were quite musical, so it skipped a generation. I think again in his, he grew up in the 60s and like it was different then. There wasn't like, as he said, if he wanted to play violin, he would have been probably beaten up by the lads at school. Like it wasn't as cool a thing then, and not many people played guitar because it didn't have the opportunities growing up to have the lessons and the money. So I think had he been born now, maybe he would be quite musical. I think there's quite a lot in it to be like, I was very lucky that when I grew up, music was a bit more accessible, and the ukulele I got was off Amazon for 25 quid. So I think my dad might have been musical if he had the opportunities because he loves it. I think he can sing if he tries.
Do you think it's something that you've been born with, or is it just something that's kind of like, oh, I like to do that sort of thing?
I think it's the nature nurture thing, isn't it? I think I was definitely born with it because even before I could speak, I was singing, and like my dad was like the sort of the tech guy in the family, and he always had like cameras, and he had this camcorder that he filmed all the Christmases and birthdays and events, which at the time was annoying, but looking back, it's the best thing ever because we've got all these memories on film and like voices and how people spoke, and it's great. But there's videos of me like dancing and singing to my nursery rhymes in Disney films, and one of my first Christmas presents that I really wanted was like a little toy guitar. So, and I even had like a piano. It was a bookmark size, like little tiny virtual keyboard thing. So I think I loved it so much. But again, that was nurtured by my parents, like supporting me doing creative things and like, letting me go to all these talent shows as a kid on holiday, or getting me music lessons that I went 2-3 times and got bored. They always like helped me with that. So I think it's both. I think, for example, I only started playing the ukulele at 18 or something, which is quite late, I suppose. I was 15, 16, but it's still quite late to start an instrument and to get good at it, I think. So sometimes people think it's too late. Oh, I didn't do it as a kid and I wasn't born with it. But I think if practice does, go a long way with things as well, I think you've got to have a bit of both, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, where would you even start to learn how to play the ukulele? It's like, where do you go to learn how to play the ukulele?
I taught myself. So I think, people do ask me if I teach ukulele, and I have done a few times in the past, but it's not really my thing. I feel like because I taught myself, I can't really teach people what they want to know. I can sort of show them how I play it, but it's really bad habits. I've got a terrible shoulder. I've been waiting a year for physio for it. I think I don't play properly. It works how I play it, but it's definitely not how it should be taught. When I got it, again, I think it comes from that natural instinct of being quite musical, but I just was like in my bedroom as a teenager, like locked away as I would be anyway. But I managed to work out a few of the chords, and then a lot of it was just going on like Google how to play the C chord, and then if my favorite song by the Sex Pistols had a C and a G, the two main chords, which were quite easy to play on the uke, that was one song learned. So I think I learned by like practicing songs that I liked, and then going on YouTube. And again, born in the era where everything was at my fingertips, so I could just like teach myself. But I think, yeah, people want to learn instruments, there's so many different ways. How, again, you can go on the internet, you could get a teacher. Like, I think there's a lot of ukulele groups as well these days. Like, there's one at the Stockton Arc that I know about, that it's become a really accessible instrument because it's so cheap to get, like a cheap plastic one to start with, and it's fairly easy as far as instruments go. So I think it's nice to see, like, it's bringing a lot of communities together of people learning instrument, maybe often later in life.
Oh, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, we're not a musical family, we are, Amelia.
No, we're not.
Definitely not. So how do you, because I think the foreign concept for me is writing a song. Like, how do you come up with your songs? Like, is there something, are they based in reality? Because, like, I just don't understand how you can take just nothing and then turn it into a tune and have lyrics, and because it's like, it's not just one part as well, isn't it? You've got the melody, you've got like the instruments, which instruments are you going to include, and then the lyrics, and putting all that all together. Like how's your songwriting process? Where do you start with that?
I've never felt like a natural songwriter. I think because, you know, some people can just like whack out 5 songs a day. I've never been like that, and it's usually like when maybe like a maximum 3 or 4 songs a year, unless I really sit down and make myself do it. But I do think songwriting is the closest thing you can get to like magic, or creating something, because like you say, you have nothing, and it is the worst feeling just sitting with a blank slate and being like, I've got no inspiration, I've got nothing, and then all of a sudden you produce a song, and that's so, and you can't really describe how it happens, but normally for me it would be just messing around with the ukulele or whatever instrument I've got in front of me. I often quite like playing an instrument I don't know, because then you're not used to it. So if I've got a piano in front of me, I'll just play random sounds and go, oh, that sounds nice, because I don't have too much knowledge that's holding me back. Because a lot of the time I'll sing a melody that, because I'm not trained in the theory, it's technically wrong, but that's kind of why it works, because it shouldn't be sung. It's hard to explain that the melody I'm singing over a certain chord shouldn't go there, because I don't know how it was meant to go. But that's, I think it's kind of the beauty of it, not knowing what you're doing, and you can find like magic from that. So I think, yeah, I'd start messing around with the instrument, playing some sounds, and then just making a melody over the top of that, and then singing nonsense lyrics as placeholders, a bit like Paul McCartney singing Scrambled Eggs instead of Yesterday. I think the melody for me would come first with some random lyrics.
I think I've heard that.
Have you not? Yeah, he was like scrambled eggs, scrambled eggs, scrambled eggs. I do that a lot, but not scrambled eggs. I think some of the lyrics I'll sing, I tend to actually keep in the final product, because it kind of, even if they don't make much sense, I feel like your brain's trying to tell you something subconsciously, which is, again, it's kind of like therapy sometimes, because you start writing random lyrics and you write them down, and then a few days later you're like, oh, that's what was wrong with me. That's what I needed to get off my chest.
Scrambled eggs. I'm still chuckling with that. Isn't it funny when you do listen to a song and that, and you make your own words up when you think, and then you find out, like, you go onto like YouTube and they've got the lyrics on the screen. You're like, that's what it's meant to say.
I'm the worst for that. She listens to the radio and I'm like, that's not the lyrics. That is completely wrong. Like, that's not what they're singing. She's like, well, I don't care. Like, okay.
So, you know, when you go out and you do your gigs and things like that, and do you have like a certain set of songs that you do for a particular set, or do you just kind of go with the flow? Or
yeah, I always have my set list. Sometimes people might request something for the gig, but I think usually when I'm doing a gig, they're quite tight with timing, so I'm just used to like the half an hour set, 6 songs, an hour set, 12 songs, and it kind of works really well. And over the years, I've honed my performance and how I introduce the songs and the stories that I tell and what I keep to myself. And it's nice, because it feels like a really natural, it flows really well. So obviously now I'm writing new songs. It's going to take me a few years to work out like how the set flows, because I take ages working out like the order and everything, because it is like, same with my album. I was like, what's going to start it? It needs to be like a journey. It's got to have dynamics and up, down, like happy songs and then a sad song, and it can't all be like the same. I find if I'm going to a gig and all the songs sound the same, I get really bored. So I try and put effort into like curating, I guess, the night.
mm-hmm. So here's a question for you. You've probably getting asked this one before. If you were to play at a certain place and sing with a certain person, like a very famous person, who would it be?
Oh, that is a good question. Someone alive, is it?
It could be live or dead, but I
Yeah,
really
anyone.
fun.
Oh, that opens up a multitude of
Oh.
different people.
It
Goodness me.
does. I think it'd have to be like the main, because I have played the Albert Hall, the Royal Albert Hall, but not the main auditorium. We played in the Elgar room a few weeks ago. So I played in the main auditorium of the Royal Albert Hall with, if I can pick someone who's no longer with us, probably David Bowie. I think that would be, and I'd sing Life on Mars. We do a duet.
Oh, yeah, wow.
It's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I don't even know who I would want to sing with, because there's so many people. I love people from, like, usual Mariah Carey, Michael Jackson. Oh, God,
Sorry, I'd love to see you singing a duet with Mariah Carey.
Can you imagine? Well, you see, in the shower, I think I actually sound like
Please, can we have a rendition now?
like a strangled cat.
I know, come on, give her a rendition.
Oh, God, no. I need the shower on. I sound
Yeah.
like
Ambience.
Can you remember your first ever gig, Amelia? And like, what did you feel like? It must be, because I could imagine when you're creating a song and you're not doing a cover or anything like that. You can imagine it feels quite vulnerable, like you're kind of putting it all on show, aren't you? Like, can you
Yeah.
remember your first show and how that felt?
Well, my first gig was all covers, but that still felt quite nerve-wracking, because in a way it was worse because people know the songs. So like if you don't do it in a way people like, it's, or if you do it wrong, people know the lyrics. If it's my own song, no one knows my lyrics. Well, some people do, but most people wouldn't in the general public. And my first ever gig, I was cacking myself. I remember I was coming home from school, and it was like in Stokesley at a pub that I'd done a few open mics at, and the woman who ran it was like, "Would you do a gig?" And I was like, yeah, I couldn't believe my luck. Like, I got paid. Again, looking back, it was like nothing, but for a 15-year-old, it was amazing. I got paid to do this show, and I was, really nervous. And I wish there was, again, my dad must have stopped the camcorder. He must have, novelties worn off at this point. There's no video from that gig. I wish there was, because it'd be very interesting. I used to sit down and play. I don't do that anymore, and I probably just didn't really speak much during the songs because I was very nervous. And I've come a long way from that. When I play now, people are like, "Are you so confident?" It's like, I'm not really. Like, I still get really nervous and I don't feel confident as such, but I've done it for 10 years now, so you just sort of, I know I'm like worthy of being on stage. I know I'm not like crap. Sorry, if I can say that on the podcast. I know I'm not bad. But like you just learn to channel your nerves a bit better, I guess.
So you said you've done it for 10 years. You must have done loads of gigs. Is there like a standout one that you've done? You mentioned Royal Albert Hall. Was that one of
Yeah.
them? Was there any others?
Royal Albert Hall was amazing. There's been some amazing festivals that I played. I played at Beautiful Days over the summer in Devon, and there was just hundreds and hundreds of people in this big tent, and it was such a good audience. So that I really enjoyed that. It's funny being put on the spot, because I think sometimes it's not even the gigs that you expect to be amazing that are the best ones. Sometimes it is like just those quite small venues where the audience are just really, really sound. And like I did one in Leeds recently, and there's about 100 people there, but it was just brilliant. I know I'm biased 'cause I'm from the north, but northern gigs are just, for me, better. I don't know if that's because I'm from the north, so people like support you more. But every gig I've done up north has been like, I can't, I hope no one from down south is listening to this, but it's true. It's like you sell more CDs because people are, I guess, it is slightly cheaper up north, so people have got a bit more, disposable income. That could be part of it. But I think people just friendly. They come and say hello, and they like laugh at the jokes. They get the crack. I've done gigs like down south where like it's just dead and it's not the same. But whenever I play like Liverpool or Newcastle or Manchester or Leeds or Middlesbrough, it's just like I feel at home. So I think my standout gigs tend to be like in the north of the UK or England, sorry.
It's funny you say that, because we chatted to a comedian a couple of weeks ago, and we asked him like similar things, like what's been your favorite gig, and he mentioned exactly the same as you, like just north of, like, if you've got like Manchester and above. I can't remember if he said Birmingham as well, but
Actually,
like,
Birmingham and that, it's more like the big cities, like you said, like London, Brighton, but yeah, carry on.
yeah, but like he had like just the north, like they were so good as an audience, like they would just get involved, they would have a good laugh, whereas like down south, it starts to get like it's just a little bit quieter. No one's really like getting
Yeah,
involved in it. But
that's
if
so good.
anyone from down south watching, listening to this, I'd be asking them why for a start. So I don't think we'll offend anyone.
And I have had some really lovely gigs down south, like the one in Devon, for example. Like, you know, it was amazing. I think probably the problem is London. It's big cities and it's a bit more like it's not as friendly. You're in a big city, but even like I've done Brighton and some places, just you get the vibe. And even if people afterwards are like, "Oh, I love that," I'm like, "Well, show your faces." I think it's just not as like, you know, it's just generally like, you know, you go on a train or you bus down south, and people might. I say down south. I just yeah, the big cities because like it's Birmingham and Cornwall and that area, people are lovely. But I think the bigger cities that it's just colder, and up north you go, "Oh, you love you all right?" Like I was at the hospital the other day for an appointment, and I got chatting to about 3 different people in the waiting room just because that's how it is. And I think it's the same at gigs. People just like it's not even friendly. It's just we're brought up differently. So when you're in a public place, you're a bit more like up for having a laugh on stage, or you know, it's not so like gotta be quiet and shut up and not say anything.
It's because we're a canny bunch, man. That's
Yeah,
why.
exactly.
So, Amelia, tell us what kind of if you didn't do kind of folk music, what else would you do?
I would love to be in like a proper indie rock band because when I grew up, that's what I wanted to do. And I had a bass guitar. And again, I was one of them kids, kind of like ADHD brain, where like I just had a hobby every week. And bless my parents. Again, when I wanted the ukulele, they actually were like, "You're not getting one," because I tried to learn piano about a month in. I packed that in. Did trampolining. I got a bass guitar. Never used it. I was one of them where I was like, "Oh, I want this." Not, I didn't get a lot. I wasn't like spoiled as such, but I always wanted to try something new and then didn't persevere with it. And so when I got the ukulele, it was the first thing I'd actually like stuck with, which is probably why it's worked so well. It was like I actually loved it straight away. I waited all that time to find what my passion was. But yeah, I got that bass guitar when I was 16 because I really wanted to be in like a band. And I was on this website where you could try and meet like other people to form a band. It never happened. But that was like the dream I had, was to be in a proper like not heavy rock but alternative sort of 90s music sound with like all female led. That was the dream, and it could still happen, but I'd have to be the singer because I can't play bass guitar.
So, of all of the songs that you've wrote and performed, which one would you say is your favourite one? Have you got a favourite one? I don't know. Is it like children? Like, can you
It
not
is
say
a bit
you've got a favourite
like
one?
I do have a favourite, but it is like having children because they are all very different in their own ways. So it's not like one's better than the other. It's just like, well, how can I compare those two songs? But I think my favourite so far is Seesaw, which is quite gothic and a bit like folk horror. And I'm really proud of it because it had a long lifespan in terms of when it was started. I started writing the idea of it in lockdown 2020, and I loved the melody and the chords I had, and I just sort of parked it. And nothing was coming to me at that time. And then it was 3 years later when I was on the journey down to record the album. I was like, I really want a 10th song. I need a 10th song. This should be it, like this tune that I've got. And I wrote the lyrics within like a day. And again, no one had ever heard it when I was in the studio. It was very fresh. And then it became my favorite. And I think it sort of proved to me that you have to trust the process. Sometimes it can take 3 years to finish it. And also, I just really like the sound of it. When it got produced by Bill Ryder Jones, my producer, it went very like cinematic with like glockenspiel, and it's just really, I like the mood it has, and I could really picture it. Out of all my songs, I could picture that being maybe a TV theme or on a film, and I would love that so much, mainly for the money, but I would also love to have that song heard by more people because I really like it.
Well, yeah, the money's a canny bonus, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's all I need is just some like an advert or a TV show, and I'll be set for life. That's what I'm holding out for.
Is there would there be an ideal TV show or film like Bond or like Game of Thrones kind of style show or anything like that you would like?
Maybe something like there's like Wednesday on Netflix, which is
Oh,
the
yes.
Addams Family sort of spin-off, something like that, where it's a
Love
bit
that.
a bit spooky, or yeah, like a gothic. I was actually, I didn't finish it. I started watching the new Frankenstein film today, and that had a really good soundtrack, and I thought something like that, a bit dark, that would work really well.
So I've watched your video on YouTube of Something Wild, your most recent release. I found that fascinating. Like, where did the concept come from that? It was, if you can describe it as well for the people that haven't
So
seen
the music video entails it starts off as a kind of Mad Hatter style tea party in the middle of the woods, except it's with some wolves, or at least people with wolf masks. And then it just becomes the tea party gets more and more raged and crazy. And then by the end of it, we have a massive like kind of food fight, and everything gets, all the teacups get smashed up. And then I also put a wolf mask on the end and become part of their pack. And the inspiration came from, I really wanted, the song itself was inspired by like old fairy tales. So I wanted that fairy tale vibe that you get with like Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland film and In the Company of Wolves, the sort of, was that in the 80s? But yeah, kind of like those quite surreal and a bit whimsical and not even like cheesy, but you know, very like colourful. I wanted that as the main influence. And then I quite like, I was just looking at like different things online, and I knew I wanted like wolf masks, but I think the tea party, me and my friend were sort of, yeah, brainstorming, and then we like, oh, we could do a tea party, and I knew I wanted something mad to happen, whether that was like smashing the teacups or what. And yeah, it was just a good excuse to have a bit of a, you know, wax loads of plates. It was really fun, and I got to eat a massive cake and throw that about. So again, another excuse just to eat a cake.
Extra bonus.
Yeah. I was quite sad though, because I only got like 4 mouthfuls, and then we smashed it up, and like it was such a beautiful cake that a lass in Norton, E Bakes with Love, she was called, and I said, like, when I contacted her, I need a cake for a music video, like it's the most beautiful, and it doesn't have to taste that great because it's gonna get smashed up. Like, I'm really sorry to say. So she made it, and I felt so like I was gutted that to ruin it because it was so pretty and it tasted really good. But she knew that was gonna happen. I was like, don't be offended when you see the video. I got tagged her in it all, so she got some good, as well as, you know, me purchasing the cake. She also got some good promo of it being smashed up.
Well, yeah, exactly, because it's the cover, like the artwork as well, isn't it? Yeah.
It was really heavy actually. We had to have, my manager Henry was like on hand just to hold the cake in between shots, because we were like, do not drop it. Like the cake became, and to be honest, again, by the end, no one wanted to eat it because like the leaves of all the trees were falling on it, and there was like bugs because it was just in the middle of the woods. So it was a really fun day. It was a long day, but I had so much fun doing it.
So your gigs up in the northeast, Amelia, is there any place that you haven't been to yet that you would like to sort of gig?
In the northeast, I've not gigged in like Northumberland or anywhere, like kind of further north in the countryside. I really love doing those more rural touring venues. I think it's nice when you go to a place that doesn't have like, you know, it's not a city or a big town, so there's not loads going on. So when you do come, people really appreciate it. And I'd like to do like maybe by the coast, like Whitby or Robin Hood's Bay. Like I've never played. I love the northeast coastline, and I've never played like. I've played Saltburn, but yeah, nothing further afield than that on the coast. And I love Whitby, and I feel like my gothic folk would kind of work well with all, you know, the vampire and the ghost walks. So yeah, out of the place I haven't played, those would be some, yeah.
Oh, it'd be lovely. Even like acoustic wise, it would be great for like somewhere, I don't know if you're allowed to do it, like somewhere like Bamburgh Castle and things like that. You know, they're doing all these candlelit gigs and stuff. That would be amazing, like inside churches and things.
Well, that leads me on nicely to where I am playing in December, which is I'm doing a gig at the Middlesbrough Cathedral in Colby Newham on the 12th of December, which is like I do a big headline show every Christmas somewhere in the like kind of Teesside region, and I wanted to do Cathedral this time, and they do candlelit concerts. I'm not sure if mine's candlelit. I might have to ask them to put some candles out because I would love that. And it's kind of going to be a nice spooky gothic Christmas festive show. And then my kind of second northeast day is in February on Valentine's Day in the Common Rooms in Newcastle. So yeah, it's a nice romantic evening singing about spooky vampires and stuff. Nothing more romantic than that on Valentine's Day.
As you do. Oh, that's brilliant. We'll have to come and watch you.
Yeah.
Would you say you've got any like really proud moments, like over those 10 years of you doing all of these gigs? Like what stands out to you as just being the moment where you just, I don't know, like just where you stand back and you go, wow, like have I actually done this?
I think the first one was when I was nominated for the Young Folk Awards, the BBC Radio 2 Young Folk Awards, when I was like 19, because I'd only written one song at that point, and my manager at the time entered me like just on a whim. He's like, should we enter you for this? And I was at uni, got the message. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I was like, we're not going to get that. And then when I did get the email saying I was a finalist, that was like, oh, that's just off one song and you've only been doing it for a few months. Like, that felt like the encouragement I needed to take this further. And then more recently, it will have been featuring on Paul Weller's album, Find Eldorado. He contacted me. We'd kind of been in touch, again, mad, but when I released my debut album, a magazine, Shindig magazine, reviewed it, and they're mates with Paul Weller, and they were like, oh, you'll love Amelia, and he did. And then we'd been in touch, and then I got this message from him being like, do you want to sing a song with me for my album? And it went from there. And that was, again, like, just when I grew up, I had a jam album above my wall where I worked. So I think if someone said when I was 15, 16, I first started playing music, like one day you'll be collaborating with Paul Weller, like that is for me a massive dream and something I never would have thought would have happened. So it's a big achievement. I'm really proud of it, but it also makes me excited for things in the future. Like you never know what's around the corner, because I did not know that was around the corner for sure. So probably that.
Wow, that's amazing. What was he like singing with him? And like,
I've not actually met him yet. We are still in touch. We're hoping to record some more bits in person, but I did it all remotely. So he sent me the song,
okay.
and I recorded it and sent it back, and it just worked like that. And he is lovely though. Like I've messaged him and stuff, and he's very down to earth, and you know, he's like a global superstar, but you wouldn't know it from the text. He's just like, hey Amelia, how are you doing? Like I've got him on WhatsApp, you know, he's not even withholding his number like some celebs would do. So I'm really looking forward to meeting him at some point. But yeah, he's really nice.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, he's just like, he's a bit of an icon, isn't he? Like I just wouldn't know what to do with myself.
No, when he first messaged me, like I didn't want to reply because I was like, what? Again, fangirling. I was like, he's just a bloke. He's a normal bloke. Like he doesn't want to be treated like royalty, but in my eyes, he is royalty. So, and my mum and dad were like again, he's such a household name. Like I've worked with a lot of kind of big people, but Paul Weller's like, he probably is the most famous person I've ever worked with, and he's such a legend and an amazing writer and musician. So it was an honor for him to like. He didn't have to. He liked my music, but he didn't have to like collaborate with me. He could have got anyone, and I didn't know the other collaborators on that album until it came out, and it was me alongside like Noel Gallagher and Robert Plant. I was like, and me. I thought it'd be like loads of people like me who were just up and coming, but it was like other really big names. So it was a big, yeah, I was really chuffed.
Wow, it's amazing. How do you kind of go about like getting a manager and an agent and things like that? How do you where do you start with that?
I think it's got to be quite organic. Well, it was for me anyway. So my first manager, Andy, who was more than just a manager, really. He was sort of like a creative collaborator and confident. I don't even say that word. I've only seen it written. Creative consultant, I guess. We met at a gig. He's also a musician. He sings in a band called the South Martins, the tribute to the beautiful South and the House Martins. So he offered to manage me because he knew we became friends, and he was like, he knew my parents were useless when it came to music and getting me gigs, and they were like, he said, I could get you gigs that are better paid than this, and my parents were like, yes please, because we don't know what we're doing, we're just getting ripped off. So he like took me under his wing, and then became my kind of, it was unofficial at the time, but then it became official. We worked together for like 10 years, and then he's decided to sort of stop doing that now. It was all amicable, and I've got a new manager who, again, I just knew through music. So I think it's all been, the great thing about being in the Northeast is everyone does seem to, there's not everyone knows everyone, but there's that kind of 1 degree separation between most people. So if you want to meet someone, you can find someone who'll introduce you. And I find it's very friendly and collaborative in the Northeast for music, and it's a nice scene to be part of. And then agent, that took me a while. It's kind of a catch-22 thing with an agent, and because like getting your first job, agents don't want you until you're like kind of selling big venues, but then how do you sell big venues without an agent? And that was my problem for ages. And I contacted a few and just got loads of rejections and be like, oh, our books are full, or you're not right for us. And it was really annoying, and not annoying, it was just gutting, because it's like, what more can I do? I'm working really hard, but I just kept at it, and I was like, I'm going to get to the point where they can't refuse, you know, they're going to see me doing well, and they're like, oh, we can't say no to her now. And that is kind of what happened. One of the people that I approached and said no originally, he heard the album and then was like, oh, you've really come a long way since then, like you've obviously worked hard since I said no, like I'd like to work with you now. So I guess it was a lot of perseverance with that and not falling at the first 100 hurdles.
It sounds like a minefield, doesn't it?
It doesn't have a team around you to help with all that, not doing it on your own. When you start off, you can do it on your own, but as you get more into it, you've got to have people around you to bounce off and delegate and help and be that team.
I've noticed at the minute the Northeast does seem to be like really thriving in the music industry. Like they had the Mobo Awards there. Like what was the one that just was it the Mercury?
Mercury, yeah, Sam
Yeah,
Fender.
Mercury one. Yeah, exactly. Like we've got Sam Fender, we've got Jade. Like there's so many big names in the industry and people bringing up events from London up to the Northeast. Being within the music industry, can you see like why that's like happening? Is there like why is there this shift? Why are we focusing on the Northeast at the moment? Like is it just because we've got big artists like Sam Fender like flying the flag, or
I think both. I think it's been like we're all fed up of it all being so London centric or South centric or even big like Manchester. Like nothing. It just feels like as a region, the Northeast gets so overlooked in not just the music field, but like the arts generally. I think it's very overlooked and misrepresented. People almost forget that we're here, and I think you've got people like Sam Fender who are flying the flag, like you say, and like I think generally like the venues and smaller communities and artists are all coming together. And I went to a really cool roundtable at the Glass House in Gateshead about like how do we make like music more like it was with the BBC, and they were like doing a panel asking people from the Northeast how can we help, like what can we do, and I was like, well, yeah, bring more events up here. So I think they brought the proms up, not from that conversation, but stuff like that where the BBC are, I think, trying to branch out more and make it more regional, because we used to have like BBC introducing in Middlesbrough and Newcastle, and then that got the BBC like then had to downsize all their like departments and make it the Northeast generally, which was quite difficult because obviously like the Middlesbrough and Newcastle scene are very different. So we still have the introducing, and Shaq does an amazing job, but like there's not much funding going into like the Northeast scene. So it's great that, you know, things are changing. And I was really lucky last year. I was awarded the Tees Valley Arts of the Year award, which 5 artists from the Tees Valley got funded because they were trying to like encourage artists that to stay in the region, like not blackmail us, but kind of give us more opportunity to stay, because you know there's more opportunities down south. However, that shouldn't be the case. It should be that all creatives can live in the Northeast and have a successful job and have a successful career. So I think that was part of their program, was like, we're going to support artists and help them do their thing in Middlesbrough or in Darlington or wherever that is. And that was a great program, and they've got Finn Foster and Boo as musicians on it this year. So hopefully that'll continue, and maybe places like Newcastle and more places in the Northeast will take that kind of concept and do their own thing with it, because it's been life-changing for me.
have you got any kind of advice for young aspiring singers in the region? Like what would you say to them to encourage them? Because as you say, sometimes being up in the north, you might be able to feel that you don't have the opportunities, but what advice could you give them?
I feel like, yeah, keep going, and you don't have to move away to make it work. Because I think I remember like really jealous of a lot of these girls I knew. I say a couple of girls I knew went to like the Brit School and schools in London that wasn't a viable option for me. And I thought, oh, they're going to make it big, and I'm not. But that's not always the case. Like I've always said you can be successful from anywhere. It is a bit more difficult, but like I think in some ways it's easier because we've got that community, and places like London don't. You're like a little fish in a massive pond. Whereas in Middlesbrough, I've got so many contacts and friends and like colleagues that I count as friends that are out there to help you, and you know, I'll help them and they'll help me. And I feel like that's a really great thing to be part of, that it's very rare, especially in music, because it's quite, people try and pit against each other in music a lot of the time, and that's not really the way to do it. Like you can only be as successful as the people around you in a lot of ways. So yeah, I think use your community, go to like open mics. This is part of the advice because I forgot to give the advice. Use the community, go to like open mics and meet people, and like social media, and you know, don't isolate yourself, and then just keep going.
It's really good advice, because I think you're right as well. It's like, whenever you think of people from the Northeast in the public eye, we always get behind them, don't we? Like we're always championing them, and like we're always supporting them. And I think that makes such a big difference. Like if you've got a whole region behind you and supporting you and pushing you, because I think we all know, like coming up and growing up in this area, we know that unfortunately we are a bit more of at a disadvantage because of our location, and like probably back when I was younger as well, like you didn't have the the money and opportunities and stuff that we have nowadays. But it's just, we know what it's like to try. For someone to succeed from the Northeast, I think takes a lot more guts, and I think we know that, so we support people much more, I think, as well.
We have got that drive to us, and yeah, we are the underdogs and we want to support those. Yeah, it's exactly that. Like, we want to get behind one of our own and like support them. So yeah.
Have you ever gone on like any of these talent shows, Amelia, like Britain's Got Talent and all of that? Or is it just a bit naff for you?
I wouldn't know. But when I was like 9, I wanted to be like, I didn't want to be Susan Boyle, but I wanted that moment. I wanted Simon Cowell to like go, wow. I remember like singing in the big Tesco and thinking that Simon Cowell or one of his associates would discover me in like the dairy aisle. It never happened. I was like a really annoying kid singing in public all the time or in the garden. And I did go to Blackpool for Britain's Got Talent, and like, again, it was a big eye opener for me and my parents, realizing how false it all is. And like, they have like these big signs and they're like, everyone clap, or like, and you have like 3 rounds before you even get to that TV round with Simon Cowell. So again, I thought I was going to meet like Amanda Holden, and that's like, there's 3 or 4 rounds before that, and they usually know who's going to that before you even get there. Like, you know, they'll scout the people out. I met someone there who'd been scouted and brought along, and then the cameras were on them, and it was so like, yeah, it kind of
contrived
my dreams as a kid, because I was like, yeah, it's not how it appears on TV at all. And I did my thing and I sang and didn't get through. And you need a story for that, because that sells, you know. And I didn't have a story at the time, and even if I did, I don't think I'd want to get famous for that. You know, you've got to have something sad or a sob story.
Yeah.
Didn't have that, so I'd never do it again. If I had children or friends, I would probably discourage them from doing it, because even if you go on there, like, you get your 10 minutes of fame and then what? Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's the path I'll ever want to do.
Yeah, I never realised that actually, but yeah, now you say it, just like come across kind of false, doesn't it? But then again, you've worked hard to get where you are, so that you've done the right thing, really. You've done it all yourself.
I'm glad that it didn't work out that way. Like, I'm glad I wasn't some 10-year-old child star. I think the pressure would have been too much anyway. But yeah, I'm happy that it worked out. Like, I did it all myself, and you don't want some like industry shark like Simon Cowell changing who you are and making you do something, because it's really like inauthentic, and it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, well, let's face it, I don't think there's that many ones that's left kind of still doing it, really. That's done it.
Exactly.
I can't think of anyone anyway, but yeah. And then you end up on I'm a Celebrity.
Although I would love to go on, like, sometimes I was a celebrity, so I could go on like the Chase or like the Trait Celebrity. Like, I want to be like one of my dream job would be like doing the rounds on those celebrity TV shows. It really would. Strictly Come Dancing, get me on there. That is the dream.
Love that. Do you know what I would really love to go on? And it's a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Is Wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
And I didn't get like, celebrities get paid to go on all these sorts of things. It's like, yeah, my dream job. I'd love to like just to go on
the Wheel.
Yeah.
You can sing on it, Amelia, and me and Haley will sit in the chairs.
I applied me and Mum applied for Bargain Hunt, but we didn't get on that. Gutted.
Oh yeah.
In lockdown, we got obsessed with Bargain Hunt, and we were like, we can do better than that, but we didn't get on that. I know, I got rejected from Bargain Hunt. Didn't have the soft story.
Exactly. If you've learned anything, just keep on trying.
Yeah, that's true.
Brilliant.
Should we do some quick fire questions, Angela?
Yeah, I'll just get my questions up.
Do you want to go first?
Right. Oh, let's have a little look. Right. Favourite place to visit in the Northeast, Amelia?
Favourite place, as in like, could be anywhere, town or like
anywhere?
Oh, probably Saltburn. I love the cliff walk. I love the beach. I love the funicular. I love Signals, because I do a nice hot chocolate, and there's like a little bookshop. So yeah, I think Saltburn overall.
Do you know what? I don't think I've ever been to Saltburn.
I haven't.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You need to go to Saltburn. It's lovely in the summer when it's like it's busy, but like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Is that where they've got the little cliff things that go like the little? Yes, I haven't been. I just know that it's there.
Go walk down and get that back up, because walking up is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Get the lift up.
I'm going to have to go, Haley.
Yes, we'll have a day trip. And then we'll meet Amelia.
Do a live podcast from Saltburn. There you go.
Yes, that's an idea.
On the beach, do a live podcast, get ice cream and fish and chips.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next one is, what is your go-to Greg's order?
Such a good question. Right, you know what? It depends on my mood because I love the chicken bake, but if you get that cold and congealed, it's horrendous. And if I'm on the road and I'm trying to be, I know it's meant to be like a quick fire answer, but I've got like reasoning here. If I'm on the road and I'm trying to be healthy, it's the tuna crunch baguette because I'm like I can't eat grease when I'm on tour. Like I shouldn't anyway. But I probably would go for. Oh God, maybe just a sausage roll, the steak bake. You know what? I don't know because it changes every time. I'm really sorry I can't answer that.
Too many.
Too many.
There's no
Exactly.
go-to. Like on how am I feeling on the day? That is the answer.
Well, I think that's fair enough. There's just an array of selections.
Yeah.
You just can't. That's a good enough answer.
Exactly. Oh, you kind of answered this one, but it's slightly different, so I'll ask it anyway. So the number one Northeast artist you'd like to duet with?
Oh, Northeast artist. Oh, it's really tough. It'd have to be Sam Fender. It would be.
Yeah.
Like that again. My boyfriend is like the biggest Sam Fender fan. Like he goes to see him every year. And one time I haven't met Sam Fender yet. I was on a flight with his band coming back from Paris randomly. They'd been recording Sam's album that came out last year, and I was like, "Is Sam with you?" And they're like, "Oh no, he's staying in Paris a bit longer." And I was like, "Oh." Just to meet Sam Fender and be like, "Hello, me and my partner love you." That would be amazing. And obviously with him would be really cool.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Have you been to see him at St James's Park, Amelia, when he's been
I
up?
haven't, but he did. Like I was gigging that night, that weekend. Sorry, but yeah, have you?
Yes. Oh, it's brilliant. I've done both times that he's been at St James's Park, and it was just amazing. Just like the atmosphere and everything was just fantastic.
That hometown crowd as well, like they're there.
Yeah.
And you'll not believe this, Amelia, right? I'm 50-year-old and I've never been to a concert.
Never been to a concert or a concert?
Any?
A concert, any.
Angela.
I know.
You've got to change that.
I know.
What are you expecting? You're going to come to the common rooms. Start you off small with the common rooms and get to St. James's Park.
I know. The trouble is, it's like knowing who to go because I do like some artists, but then I don't like all of their songs. And I think, why spend all that money?
That's true. Especially when, like, if you've seen an established artist and they're like, I'm not an 80s singer, and start playing all the new stuff, you're like, oh, no, play the old hits. We don't want the new stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. This is why. I did want to go and watch Madonna one time, but we ended up with tickets from a ticket tout and they weren't actually real, so I never got to go.
Oh, no. It'll happen one day.
Oh, I know.
That happened to me. Well, not the ticket out, but the singing the songs. I went to see Elton John, and I was buzzing. I was like wanting to hear like all the classics, and he started just singing all these old, like his new album. Oh, I was gutted. I was buzzing my tits off, and then it just went incredibly wrong. Right, I'm next order. So, if your life had a soundtrack, which song would open it?
Which song would open my life soundtrack? These are some really good questions that I feel like I need 4 working days to reply to.
Actually, the Greg's one.
Yeah, it'd probably be like a song from my childhood. Either When You Wish Upon a Star from the Pinocchio soundtrack, because like that reminds me of my granddad, and like it's just such a, and it kind of sets the scene of like, well, if you wish upon a star, your dreams come true, or like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because I loved Wizard of Oz. I still do. I wear like red shoes at pretty much every gig, or red tights because of like a little nod to Wizard of Oz. So maybe like the Rainbow, again, dreams can come true. It's a bit cheesy, but it's like a childhood song for me that means a lot. So I'd say one of those.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Good
Are you going to
answer.
go to the cinema to watch the new Wicked, Amelia?
Yeah, I watched it last year, and I'm already buzzing for it. I haven't got my tickets yet because I'm on again touring quite a lot this month. So, and I didn't. My friends are all going the night I'm on tour. So again, I'm having to bring my boyfriend Tom, who came last year with me, and he's not a musical person, but he loved the film. He's been like singing all the songs since. So I think he's going to come to see part 2 with me this time.
Yeah, it's so good. I think even because my daughters love it, but even my husband, I saw his foot tapping. I think he secretly likes it.
Not, you know what I mean? Like even if you're not a musical person, you can't deny it's a good film and a good song.
Last question, Amelia. What makes you proud to be from the Northeast?
I think the people, like we've talked about. It's how like proud people are from the region, and just how friendly, and whenever you come back you realise how nice it is to be from this place. You know, like I say, I went away and I loved it, but I came back and I always missed it. And I love doing my gigs in the northeast, and I'm just so proud to like be from a region where like you're supported by others. And yeah, I think it is the people what make the region. Like if it was, obviously it's beautiful, the area, but it's the people that make it, the community.
Yeah, definitely. The amount
And
of people. Yeah, Palmer.
Yeah, and Palmer's.
I'm going to have one of those for me tea on Thursday. That's on my menu this week.
Where are you going?
No, I'm just going to make one myself.
Oh, nice. I do like making a pan, but I can't be bothered, so fair play. I'm jealous.
It'll probably be shit, like. I'm not going to be making a classic one. I'm not, just stick a couple of bits of sauce and cheese on it and it'll be good. Fine. I've actually thought of another question I'd like to know the answer to, is if you could pick a northeast artist that's not like in your face like Sam Fender or anything like that you would love people to check out, who would that be?
I'd say she's a singer-songwriter in her own right, but she also plays keyboards with me, Robin Erico. She's only just started like kind of playing music publicly and releasing in the last couple of years, and she's amazing. She's like prog pop. It's very atmospheric and her songs are really interesting. And she supported me in Newcastle actually in February, but she's an amazing singer, so I'd recommend everyone listening to her.
For the oldies, what does prog mean?
Progressive. So it's like pop. It's not pop how you'd think, like, you know, it's not great pop. It's like kind of a bit more, progressive. Prog.
All right, okay.
I feel really cool now, like, oh yeah, prog.
I've got no clue.
Yeah.
I might need an emoji for that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Not
just
down
went
with
like that.
I did see like a blank expression on your face at that point.
What? Oh,
bless you. Right, brilliant. So thank you so much, Amelia. But before we say goodbye to you, is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners? Anything like where would we follow you to get in touch? Any events that you've got coming up?
So yeah, I mentioned my tour. If people want to buy tickets for that, you can do on my website, which is www.ameliacoburn.co.uk, and then Amelia Coburn on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, got a mailing list. So yeah, if people want to keep in touch, they can find me. So yeah, it'd be lovely if people enjoyed the episode and want to say hello.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And we'll add all of those links in the show notes as well, so people can click straight through, follow you and join your mailing list and things.
Oh, thank you.
Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us. And thank you.
It's been really fun.
Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support Geordie Pride further, then don't forget to subscribe, share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram @Geordie Pride. Until next time, keep that Geordie Pride shining bright.